in your initial answer, you were there on January 6th. How concerned are you that another January 6th could happen?
I'm not, because I mean the place is a fortress now, and we have, I used to be standing in line for coffee with just chiefs of staff and legislative aides. Now I'm standing in line for coffee with soldiers, with members of the National Guard. The place is a fortress. Listen, I think the larger kind of dynamic, right? The larger anti-government dynamic is certainly alarming and scary, and should be for Congress and should be for the Republican Party. But I'm not scared about that specifically. And I just want to make one other point here, Jonathan. In the next, week or so, there's going to be, this commission is going to be on the floor. And you talked about subpoenaing Fred Upton, a Republican of Michigan, said this morning McCarthy would probably be subpoenaed. He said that on I think CNN, on one of the Sunday shows there. Mm-hmm. If I were Kevin McCarthy or I were Republicans, I'd just be concerned a little bit about what might come out here. And Republicans, if they don't support this commission, and that would be a dangerous precedent. I think many of them will. If they don't support it, they're handing Democrats a talking point, right? I mean, they don't want to get to the bottom of this. This is a very straightforward commission. They've gotten all of their asks, Republicans have, for the most part, and it would be a real statement if they did not support this.
Renee, I mean, Jake says, the Hill, it's a fortress. They're National Guard and folks all around. But I'm sitting here thinking, OK, might not be worried about insurrectionists a la January 6th. But when you've got Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene chasing Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez around the complex, that, to my mind, is like, what does that portend? Not maybe in terms of security at the Capitol, but just the comity, actually being able to maybe try at least to get things done on Capitol Hill.
Well, it's like that horror movie. The calls are coming from inside the house now, right? So there's not much of an issue of what might happen from people outside. It's what's going on inside, in the way that Kevin McCarthy is doing nothing about it. He's got nothing to say. In no world should a congresswoman be chasing another congresswoman. In no world should members of her staff be berating Democratic members of the House for continuing to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. Like, this is where we are. And so the idea that this can't happen again, what happened on January 6th might not happen again, but a different version of that, I think, is quite possible. Right. And people have to always remember what happened on January 6th. The insurrection wasn't crushed. They all just went home. So there's really no reason for this not to continue in some other capacity, in some other place.
And Dana, real fast, in 20 seconds, back to my Star Wars analogy, is Congresswoman Cheney more powerful now out of the conference conference chair than she was in?
She has a much bigger platform now because we in the media are giving it to her. Even Fox News is giving it to her. She has virtually no power within her party. It's all entirely outside of the party. Mm-hmm. But that's the best they can do right now, is just sort of heckle Kevin McCarthy and these other weak leaders.